Lakeview is one of Chicago's most popular neighborhoods, and if you want to understand why you should move to Lakeview and have a guide to follow to make your decision or where inside of Lakeview to live, this is the right spot. I have been buying property, living in, selling in Lakeview for 30 years, so I am one of the very most experienced people in the neighborhood, and people come to me all the time. So just call if you need me any questions at all. Lakeview is a very good sized area. You have Eastern Lakeview, which if you are someone that's interested in being close to the lake, living in a building, whether it be a high rise or an older building, a walk-up building, then that's going to be your spot because they're all built close to the lake. And then if you go into kind of the midsection of Lakeview, you get up by the Southport corridor, which was basically one of the best known areas in the city. If you like Lincoln Park, which is kind of the crown jewel of neighborhoods, especially with people that relocate to Chicago, like to live in Lincoln Park, and you want to spend less money and get a great place in a very Lincoln Park-ish neighborhood, then the Southport corridor will be your spot. Has incredible shops. When I had a client move there a long time ago, and I said, you just wait, this whole strip of retail is going to be, it's going to be Lincoln Park here. And that's what's happened. National brands, restaurants, bars, old time bars have been there since the 60s, places that have been totally revamped, newer bars, restaurants, so it has it all. But what it does have, very similar to Lincoln Park, is it has tree-lined streets with beautiful new homes. A lot of new construction, and then the older homes have been, many of them have been renovated, and then you do have some of the holdouts that have been there since the 60s, 70s, still living in the family home, and many of them were our neighbors, and they were great to live around, but they have, smaller homes, kind of like the neighborhood used to be way before it got, blown up into, this kind of more fancy neighborhood with a lot of new construction condos and single family homes. But what you will get in Lakeview is, part of Lakeview is Wrigleyville. So if you're by the Southport corridor, you're real close to Wrigley. You can walk there, but you're just outside what I call the Wrigley bubble. So you're not directly influenced by the the ballpark and the traffic and the people. You'll see a little bit of it, but it's not a big deal. You'll want to understand the values in Lakeview in the different areas and Lakeview compared to Lincoln Park. I'll get to this at the end of the video and kind of explain that well. So as far as what Lakeview has to offer, it's got a couple different train stations that can bring you downtown. It has great parks, and it has kid parks. It has a lot of dogs. A lot of people have dogs that live in Lakeview, especially the Southport corridor, and it has great community involvement. So there's trick-or-treating, there's block parties, there's a lot of kind of fun, more neighborly stuff. It's a little bit different than Lincoln Park that way. It's a little bit more old school Chicago, traditional, kind of more, a little more cozy, neighborhoody than some of the areas in Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park's beautiful and nice, but Lakeview just has a little different, a little bit of a softness to it compared to Lincoln Park sometimes. So schools in Lakeview have, over the last 15-20 years, just exponentially improved because property values went up, people move in, people are really amped up about the schools. A lot of parents get involved with the schools. There's a lot of community involvement, and then the city has done some great physical renovations around the schools and the play areas, and it's really pretty great. So there's some great options. I won't get into all the school options because it gets kind of complicated. And but there are definitely good school options and private school options too. So Lakeview kind of has it all, and it will get you to the expressway pretty easily from Lakeview. You can just go a little bit west, or you can go south kind of to Lincoln Park and get on there. As you move further west in Lakeview, you will butt up against other neighborhoods. Roscoe Village, you go a little bit north, you know, you're in St. Ben's. And they all kind of morph into the Lakeview neighborhood. They're all very close, very similar, but just get a little further away. So when you're on the western side of Lakeview, you will get more for your money. There will be a discount a little bit and even more quietness, but it will not be quite as walkable in some of the spots. You can spill just a little bit west of Ashland, and there's some nice pockets in there, but you can't really walk as well to things. I mean, you can a little bit, but not as much as being by Southport. So let's talk about Eastern Lakeview. That's where you have high rises. That's where you have old courtyard buildings, walk-ups. You know, there's a lot of opportunity there for condos, if that's something you're interested in. And there's some townhomes, some of them older, some of them newer, that are mixed in there. So if you have questions, just call, text, email anytime. There is a lot of new construction in Lakeview. There is a home right now that's not on the market yet, that's on 3 city lots, and they're going to be asking $6 million. I mean, this is, you know, high price. So, but rightfully so. A lot of the new construction homes that are a little bit older now are anywhere from 2 to 3.5 million. And then the condos have incredible views along Southport. We owned one on the top floor, a penthouse unit, way back in the 90s, and we had an incredible skyline view at night. You could just look out the family room window. They have changed the zoning since then, so you have to kind of get the buildings that were grandfathered in. So again, just call if you have questions. One big difference between Lakeview and Lincoln Park is Lakeview has 2 Whole Foods, which people like Whole Foods, and you can walk to them. One's in Eastern Lakeview, one is pretty close to Southport. So Lincoln Park, the Whole Foods, you really have to drive to. It's harder to get to. It's kind of off the beaten path. But Lakeview has 2 like neighborhood Whole Foods. It's real nice, very convenient. Southport corridor has the best retail. And then if you combine that with Wrigleyville, close to Wrigley Field, between the Southport retail and restaurants and the Wrigleyville fun retail, tons of restaurants and bars. Penny's Noodle Shop opened in 1991, been going there ever since. Incredible. There's a lot. I mean, it really has a lot in a condensed area. And then if you really get bored, go over to Roscoe Village, have some great restaurants, a different little vibe, and a lot of good stuff. Our first apartment was right by the left field wall of Wrigley when we got married, and then we bought a handful of buildings in Lakeview around Southport, and I've represented developers for the last 30 years, built some of the first condo buildings, know all about the different building specs, the zoning changes over the years, and how that affects pricing. So just reach out if you want to really get detailed on Lakeview or Southport corridor.